Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Cheeseman's Fright Farm in Portersville, Pennsylvania. But before we get into that, we have a couple things we want to mention first. As we have been, we've just finished a short film called Samsara that is on Amazon. It's free for Prime members, 99 cents to rent if you're not. The link will be in the description. Not many people have been watching it, so we greatly appreciate it if you actually just help us out and just watch it, you know? Like it or don't like it, you know, let us know, leave a comment or something like that. We're starting to end the haunt season, so still make sure to let us know any places you'd like us to visit. Now it'll pretty much be next year, but, you know, any ideas or places you would like to see, make sure to comment that below. We already have a list starting for next year based off of people's recommendations. Also, make sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe, comment on this video, all the good stuff, you know, that you should do to help support your local YouTubers. That you, if you enjoy the content, it helps us out a lot and lets us know that you actually want to see it. But that being said, we will get into the review of Cheeseman's Fright Farm. Now this place, it is like a haunted hayride, and they drop you off and you go through like some stuff. It's kind of like a trail / corn maze / haunted houses. It's kind of like a menagerie of things.
All the things, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a lot more than I expected. Like we were like pleasantly surprised by it.
Right. So I used to go there all the time, but I haven't been there in, I would say, probably about 6 to 7 years. It's been some time since I've been there. Kim has never been there.
Yeah.
And the last time I had been there, and they said this was years ago, it was starting to get a little bit stale. And there was a lot of people in the comments of that video at the time, a couple years after, telling me to go check it out again because it's gotten a lot better, but we just never got around to it. There's a couple times we actually tried to go the last 2 years. Last year we went, it was closed. We apparently didn't pay attention enough when it was open. The year before that, it started pouring as soon as we got there. So we've been trying to get back there now for a while. Yeah. So the first thing you'll see when you get there is, it's pretty cool. There's like a giant, Betsy's Barn is what it's called. And, it's just, it's not really necessarily spooky Halloween themed.
No.
But very, like, quaint.
Yeah.
Like, just, like, fall festival themed, which is nice. The spookiness doesn't really start till you actually get on the haunt itself.
Well, that's not true.
Well, they have haunt actors, but I mean, as far as props and stuff go.
Yeah.
There weren't, like, spooky, like, mangled corpses or anything like that.
Because, like, we immediately went in there, and we got barraged by Michael Myers and Jason, and it was like... Oh, okay. It was like we barely even stepped foot on the property, and they were like right at us. So that was kind of fun.
Yep. But that being said, we'll get into sets and props. So we will start with the hayride. Now, this is one thing that I do believe the good old Rona has affected them, because I'm usually, from what I remember and from what I've heard years past, they've had more scenes on the hayride. There was only really like, I'll say 2 scenes. There was a scene where it was kind of like, let's call it the Slipknot scene, where it was like I think they even had Slipknot masks on, I do believe.
They might have, yeah.
Where there's like, I believe there's like a rock music playing, and there's like a guy with the chainsaw that like does stuff. And then there was another scene where it was like you're in between a couple campers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this might not necessarily be a scene, but they'd have a tractor chase.
Mm-hmm.
And he got really close and, like, spewed flame, which is... and I've been to a couple hayrides that did it. Cheeseman was the first one I've ever seen that did it. And it is, especially if you're in the... we weren't in the back seat, but I've been in the back seat before. And there's not much freakier when a tractor is, like, this close. I've been in one that actually hit the wagon. Like, they have an apparatus where it goes underneath the wagon. So it just... Ugh. That's rough. This one doesn't hit it, but dang does it get close. And the flames being spewed makes it a little bit freaky, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So you get on the tractor, it takes you through the little, through the hayride, and it drops you off at this, basically the middle of a field.
Yeah.
And there's like this, oh, what did they say? Oh, we had to go get, cleansed from the Rona.
Yeah, that's what they literally told us.
Yeah, there were like these 2 girls dressed as nurses, which was appropriate because they had the masks on and everything. So, and we actually went into like this spooky tent and stuff, and that was kind of the start of everything. And lots of fog, like all the fog, like a lot of fog.
Yeah. And like the entire thing, so I'm sure if you go to haunted houses, you've seen where the laser swamp.
Yeah.
Which is basically, if you're somehow unfamiliar, it's a room they fill with like a low-laying fog, and there's a laser that makes it look like you're wading through water. Well, this one, the entire haunt, you were in the fog, and there's like a wall. It made it look like you were kind of almost underwater, kind of.
Yeah.
Because they had like the laser wall on top of you, and it was pretty much covering the entirety of the place.
Yeah.
And it was just really strange because like it was very disorienting because there was a lot of like, they were strobe lights, but they weren't like the real flash ones. It was like flash, flash, flash. And like it was weird, and it was really disorienting, and it made it so the actors could like, you'd see them for a second, then they could just disappear.
Yeah.
They didn't really separate our groups at all. They kind of just shoved us in, but at a point you just kind of lose everyone because it was hard to even keep track of the three of us, let alone where like other people were. So like you would run into people, but the amount of fog and like the way it's set up, because it's not really a corn maze, because I don't really think you get lost, but there's many different paths you can choose that all take you to the same end.
Yeah, yeah. It was just very, and I liked this word because he kept using it as we left, ethereal.
Yes.
Because of the fog and the lights and just everything that was happening. Like we were confused. Like the whole time we're walking through it, we're just like,
it was really hard.
What is happening?
Yeah, because there was just, and like they had multicolored lights everywhere, and it was just really strange to look at, and like there really weren't many scenes per se. The whole thing was just weird. Like I've never really been to a haunt that like looks the way that they had this set up this year. And then like towards, once you get about halfway through, like there's points where you look out in the woods and there's like, we call them chicken wire ghosts. I don't know if that's exactly what they used, if it was the same thing, but it was a basic concept, if not, though.
It looked like they were made out of chicken wire. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that they probably were of some sort like that, but they were glow in the dark and randomly like lights would flash, and so you would just see these, like, in some points it was kind of like, what's out there? Like, what? You just see, like, these glowing things kind of in the trees.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really get too close to them, but yeah, it just added to just the, like, you're like, what's happening? What am I seeing right now? The only real, it's not an animatronic, but the only, like, thing they had is, like, a real big prop is they had a giant rat puppet head at one point that would come out and get you. But yeah, just the way this place was, and you do go into a couple buildings as well. They were lighter on the buildings this year than I think years past when I've been there, and I think part of that was because of the Rona, is they wanted to keep you outside more maybe. There weren't many inside portions, just a couple here and
just
there.
A few.
Just a few.
They were really quick kind of things, and big room, like big buildings.
And dark, like very dark, and like just like claustrophobic too. Like the one was just like hay, and it was like this little like, I don't even know, like little tiny catwalk you had to walk over and stuff, and yeah, it was pretty cool. And we put this into sets and props, but I mean, it's a living thing. There's at the end there's a guy with a big snake, and you kind of like touch my snake, and like you can pet the snake if you want. It's not gonna hurt you. It's just a snaky snake. But if you're freaked out by snakes, it'll probably terrify you. Like my cousin, oh my god, yeah. But anyways, for sets and props though, we gave it a 7.5. Because there really wasn't that much sets or props. It was just a really cool design and lighting. Yeah. And so that's why, like, even though there really weren't many sets or props, we still gave it a 7.5 because it was just really cool to walk through there, because it was just kind of almost like you're in like a little dreamland or something. I don't know. It was pretty neat.
That's very cool. Mm-hmm. So moving on to actors. First off, the hayride. At one point, we're at this one area, and I think it was like the meth lab or something like that.
I'm not sure what the theme was, but it was by a trailer, yeah.
These guys jump up, and like one's got a chainsaw, and this other guy comes up, and we hear this loud bang, and we're like a shotgun. And we're like, oh my god, that is like really close. Yeah, it was attached to his back.
It was like a little cannon.
Like this little cannon attached to his back. It happened like 3 more times.
It was very loud, yeah.
Scared the crap out of us each time.
Well, I think the entire wagon crapped themselves. So yeah.
Oh my god.
Because when I saw it, because you look at him and you see like the fire just shoot out the top, and it's like, jeez. Yeah, that scared the living crap out of me. And then another guy that scared me on the hay wagon is right before the scene with the chainsaw, the Slipknot scenes you're talking about. This guy just randomly came out of the woods with this big staff and just whacked it on the thing. And I wish more hay rides did that. That's the easiest way to scare someone, because you have to make a lot of noise to come out of nowhere. Like so many times, like the actors just stand there and look at you, and it's like, that's not scary. No one really finds that scary unless they're like really young. And the guy at the chainsaw, like, I mean, he was shoving that thing in people's faces. Like he was getting close. It was kind of creepy. Thankfully, he didn't come over to me. Like, I was like one of the only few people that he didn't like shove it in their face or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when you actually get into the haunt itself, I felt like there wasn't much dialogue.
No.
But there was quite a few of them, and a lot of them had pretty good hiding spots.
Oh, very good hiding spots, especially with those weird lights that were going. You could they would hide behind the light because they were very blinding lights.
Yeah.
And they would just flash, and then all of a sudden someone would just appear, and you're just like, oh, where were you? And it was like they were just right behind the light. You just couldn't see them because it was so bright. So it was a really good scare tactic there.
Yeah, and there was a lot of times where people were just appearing out of nowhere. Like I remember the one guy that was crawled out on the ground underneath a stage. There was one that scared the crap out of me because he was really close. It was in that section where you were walking on the little catwalk I was talking about, and there's corn on both sides. I looked and he didn't say anything. His face was just there. He was just watching me. He scared the crap out of me. I'm like, geez, there he is. But the actors were pretty good, and they were really aggressive, and they seemed to be really good at just disappearing and reappearing and scaring you. Yeah. I would have liked a little more dialogue, and there was a few dead spaces. Like the whole beginning area was pretty dead. Yeah. Until you got down to the core and the tent, there weren't really anyone in there or anything. And I would have liked to see more on the hayride. I would have liked to see more on the hayride in general. So hopefully next year that'll be spruced up a little bit. Because I'm pretty sure, as with every place, they're affected a little bit by everything that's going on right now. So But for actors, we gave them an 8. The ones that were there were really good, and they were pretty aggressive. Just a little more dialogue and maybe a few more.
All right, moving on to scare factor. Like we said, was very disorientating. It was weird, confusing a lot. Mm-hmm. They did have really good hiding spots, a ton of fog. They used those lights, like I said, they used those lights to their advantage. They had some really good hiding places and stuff. So, yeah. We got scared pretty decent.
Yeah, we got jump scared a few times. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. There's, nothing as much as what the guy on the hayride with that cannon got me. That was by far the most. But, yeah, there's definitely a couple times where they did startle me. Yeah. Not much gore or anything like that, because, again, there really aren't sets and props. It's mainly just, an experience of just walking this weird trail thing. But I would say it is decently scary. I would say that it's probably okay for, it is fairly family-friendly as far as, there's not, lots of swearing, gore, or anything like that, but it is startling. Yeah. So, if a kid can't handle, high-intensity startles, the loud noises and stuff, or if they're real sensitive and that, do not bring them. But if they're okay with that, but it's more of, the gore and that stuff that bothers them, this isn't a bad one. And there were all ages of, people. There were, older people like us, and then there were, younger kids that looked like they were probably in, the 12, 13 range as well. Mm-hmm. So for scare factor, we gave them a 7.5. Pretty decently scary, but pretty much all on just the jump scare as far as that's where the scares come from.
Right. So moving on to value. It took us about 25 minutes to go through. And it cost $20 to get in. Mm-hmm.
And they do offer a fast pass, which is $50. So it's actually more than double. Some nights they do get really busy. They are pretty good at getting people through. They were running at least 3 tractors the night we were there.
Quite a few.
So they were moving it pretty good. $50 is a lot for a fast pass, I think, quite a bit. Yeah. It's over twice the price. But $20 is pretty good, and I'm pretty sure it is shorter than it has been in previous years. And I've read people's comments saying that it is. The fun thing is, I'm pretty sure. Well, when I first started going, I think it was $15. But when I first started going, I was still in school, so this was 12 years ago. So, the price hasn't really increased much. And we think that the value is pretty good for $20.
Yeah. It's pretty decent. We gave it an 8. Mm-hmm. Pretty decent. Yep. Yeah, it could be a little bit longer.
Yeah, which I think it probably will be next year. Probably. But, yeah. So that brings us to our overall score. For overall, we did give them an 8. Even though there are some shortcomings this year, I still think it is definitely worth checking out. Just the feeling of the place, it just feels very home run, and the barn is so pretty and stuff, and they have good food there. I know we didn't have any of it this time, but I've had it before. And I do believe they have stuff in the day too that's completely family friendly. Like I think they have like a pumpkin patch and stuff like that. I do believe. You have to check the website, but I'm pretty sure they do have like daytime events and stuff like that as well. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Were you there this year? Did you go last year? You know, which year is better? Is it usually longer than this, shorter? You know, let us know whatever, you know, you thought of it. We'll probably try and check this one out again next year for comparison, you know, long as we can. But yeah, just let us know what you guys thought of if you've been there or if you plan on going, and we will see you in the next video.